What BS are you dealing with at work right now? My last day is Friday, so they made me write a guide on how to do my job because no one else knows how. Being scheduled on basically every day I was supposed to have off. I met an internship I was extremely excited to have and learn from. I haven't done any work the past 2 weeks. Bar manager and 20% of the staff quit. Owner hasn't hired anyone. It's been 3 months. No one can take unexpected days off or call in sick, and inventory is at an all-time low. Except the kegs. So many kegs. We keep running out of fucking everything. I and others have offered to help over the summer, and nothing has come of it. The restaurant is expanding and we need more employees, but my boss is too focused on having us dust during construction, replacing glassware with crystal, and setting up public accessible training courses to bother with actual management. Oh, and communication is non-existent, so I regularly show up to work and have no idea where shit is or what the new procedures are. 2 of my co-workers were promoted out of the department and no one was hired to replace them, leaving me to do the work of 3 people, minimum. Upon expressing that my own hours weren't enough time to get the work done even with overtime, I was told, "You have to get it done. If you can't get it done it means we'll have to find someone else who will." Robot. What you're looking for is a robot willing to work 24/7 for a barely living wage. Got it. Glad to know the company values my mental health. Boss doesn't understand how time works. I was offered a job at another location. I told my boss about it, and my current company offered me a raise to stay. I took it. It's been 2 months and I haven't seen the raise in my paycheck yet. I handed in my notice at work and my boss suddenly stopped talking to me. Lol. The third party keeps insisting that an individual worked for my company. They did not. We have searched everywhere. We have punched in every variation of their name, birthday, social security number into our system. Dude didn't work here, and well this other woman says he did isn't an argument. And NBSP. Beta. As much as I appreciate all the replies, this is not my first rodeo as an attorney, and I wouldn't be complaining if this had a simple fix, like tell them to fuck off or stop replying. My boss asked if I would be working tomorrow afternoon. When I said yes, he ominously replied, "Interesting." I have a vendor who gives me the same answer every day that I email him. "Let me check and get back to you." His shipment has slipped by over 2 months at this point, and it's driving me nuts. He's doing the same thing to other people in my office on other projects. He's on a quick list to be blacklisted, but unfortunately, the clients love his stuff. Girlfriend took the time off in advance to see a best friend she hasn't seen in 2 years for literally 1 day. Work is currently telling her that they're scheduling a mandatory employee meeting everyone needs to go to or else you get fired. Keep in mind there is barely anything important that ever gets announced at these. Edit. I'll mention that this is PA. It is going to be an unpaid meeting at a location that the owner owns somewhere else, and she put in her request weeks before the owner made this decision. Lately, whenever the mother of one of my students pisses off the father, they divorced 4 months ago, he will send all 3 of their kids in mismatched clothes with shirts that have some variation of "I love my dad" or "Daddy's kid." I have not seen the same shirt twice and believe mom throws the shirts out and dad just keeps buying more. I work with a woman who CCs her boss on all emails. Her boss follows up on all of the emails 5 to 10 minutes later. They looks like this. Woman. "Hey Ganglibit, we're starting this new thing, so can you send us X, Y and Z when you have a chance thanks." Her boss, 5 min later. Ganglibit, as per woman's initial request, we need these things to move forward. In our previous meeting on May 4th, at 2 p.m. you indicated you could send these to us. I ask you to please send these along ASAP as our initiative depends on good information. Please confirm receipt and indicate when we can expect these documents. Everything is done in an improvised fashion even when it's identical to something we've done 100 times before. They refuse to create any kind of system or structure for doing anything, and it drives me up the wall. Every single time, every question, every form, every action, everything needs to be run through 100 different people and approached as if it's a brand new thing, even if it's routine paperwork we do multiple times a week. It's the most incredible waste of time. Let's say I traveled from Phoenix to Tucson and I need to be reimbursed for gas. I'll go pull out the exact same piece of paperwork I used last time. I'll fill in the extremely basic blanks that I did last time. Name, travel date and time, mileage, gas receipt, sign and date. Submit the form. A day later, I get an email. Oh hey, here you put Tucson, but you need to put Tucson, Pima County, Arizona. Make the change. Ask if there are any other changes. Nope, looks good. Resubmit. A day later, I get a phone call. Oh hey, here you put J.J. Jameson, but you need to put J. Jonah Jameson. Make the change. Ask if there are any other changes. Nope, looks good. Resubmit. A day later, someone pops in my office. Oh hey, here you put Pima County, Arizona and J. Jonah, but it needs to just say Tucson, Arizona and J. Jameson. Oops. Make the change. Ask if there are any other changes. Nope, looks good. Resubmit. It finally goes through. 2 weeks later, I travel from Phoenix to Tucson and need to be reimbursed for gas. I pull out the final version that finally went through last time, just 2 weeks ago, after all the changes. I change nothing except the date, time and attach the new gas receipt. A day later, I get an email. Oh hey, here you put Tucson, Arizona, but now it just needs to say Tucson. Oh hey, here you put Phoenix, but you didn't include the zip. Oh hey, here you put J. Jameson, but it needs to say J. Jameson Jr. Esquire. Oh hey, here you put that it's 113 miles, but we decided to start rounding to the nearest 5, so it should 115 miles. Oh hey, here you put 115 miles, but an hour ago we decided it needs to be rounded to the nearest 10,000th of a mile. Oh hey, we decided to do away with zip codes on these forms. Every single time. Client had a full 10 months to review a demo site that we had up. They made a couple of nitpicks and claimed they were happy with it. The site went into staging a few weeks ago, and they immediately came up with a list of 50+ issues with it and demand it be fixed or they won't renew the contract. Edit. It's a bit complicated. I think part of the issue is that the upper management didn't look at the site until it was in staging, and they are the ones that noticed the problems. We are releasing patches on a nearly daily basis, which is keeping them happy. Just today that said that all the major roadblocks are out of the way and the site can go to production. Jeff cuts his fingernails every fucking day in his office. How do they grow so fast? Is he a werewolf? Also, he scrapes every last tiny fucking bit out of his yogurt container. It's so loud and he does it for like 3 minutes straight. Edit. Fixed a word. Do this task. What do you need? I need 30 computers and 20 USB 3 flash drives. Here's 15 computers and 7 USB 2 flash drives. What? I need 30, where's the other 15? And these flash drives won't do, the system won't even work with those. Budget cuts, sorry. Later. How's this task going along? Everything is set to go, but as is it won't fulfill the task. What's keeping you from doing the task? I need 15 more computers and 20 USB 3 flash drives. Okay, we'll order more ASAP, they'll be here in 2 years. Make sure everything's running by September though. Are things like this everywhere or is it just at my job? It's my boss's birthday, not a lot of folks respect her. I'm new to the department and was asked by Don to collect money on Friday to get her flowers. He was going to bake a cake and bring it in. He was sick yesterday so didn't come to work. I collected a measly $19 from others, awkward AF because no one even likes her, topped it up with my own tent to get a decent bunch of flowers, bought yesterday evening and brought in the Sam. Don is in and says, I couldn't find the money you collected, do you have it? I said, I used it yesterday to buy the flowers, wasn't that the plan? He replies with an attitude, well no, I ask why it matters, and he says well I couldn't bake the cake because I was sick, so I don't know what we're going to do now, if the money's used up, we can't get a cake now. Another girl nicely chimes in that she will run out and grab a cake, and don't worry Don, it's all fine. Don's a snippy guy so I don't bother asking him how I was to know he's too ridiculous to go get a cake himself. Others are running around asking me if I've seen the money because apparently Don's making it well known that I was supposed to collect money, but no one has seen the envelope. Obviously, I took it yesterday, then I have to explain that I used all the money, so I look stupid. Keep throwing in that I was doing exactly as was asked of me, but Jesus Christ, Don, would it kill you to communicate your change of plans to people? Budget issues. We as a management team just waived our annual increase to make sure there was enough for all of our employees. As we're giving them their annual reviews, raises and new salary info, they don't know we're not getting anything this year. I was sexually assaulted by a customer. My managers think the better plan is for me to hide in the break room while he shops from now on, instead of banning the customer from the store. I was a minor at the time, and the customer tried to get me to give him my phone number and address so he could take me to Lincoln, 2 hours away from my house. Edit. The sexual assault was not the customer trying to get my phone number and address, the assault was a customer grabbing my butt, forcibly holding my hand, and kissing me on the cheek. I do sound for cover band at a hotel that feels like they're better than or at least equal to an act that sells out stadiums. Every night I deal with 560-plus-year-old musicians with expectations that would make Mariah Carey say that's too fucking much. Edit. Typo. Trying to move this fuck-ass 40-feet fiberglass ladder on my own since everyone called in. Just saw my director of revenue on Facebook while I'm finishing her month-end report that we should have finished by the 5th of July. I decided fuck around Reddit. My robot is not doing what I designed him to do and is making my work a lot harder. The irony. Edit. The robot is supposed to take data from a banking core system and make different tasks. Can't say more than this cause I love my job and don't want to get fired. And no, people are not getting fired because of the robot. The company is ran by people that really care about its employees and they hardly ever let go of people. We take tasks that people really hate or take too long. Having a smoke after I got slammed with a 14 top by myself because my cook called in 10 minutes before her shift. And I fucking rocked it. Hey, you know that job that takes all day to complete you do? Yeah. Here's 6 more. Wait, hang on, Oh, also you know that job that takes like 3 guys all day to do? Yeah. Yeah, can you do that 3 times a day from now on to your phone's ringing BTW? For some reason I thought my contract was up end of August. It isn't, it's up at the beginning of August. I talked to management and it was a total surprise to them, and now they're scrambling to possibly get me a salaried position like they promised, but also saying, the budget might not let us. So I don't know if I'll have a job by the end of the month or if they'll manage to create something before I leave. Either way, I'm looking for jobs. Astronomer here. I submitted my PhD, yay. And it turns out part of the process in the country where this is happening, the Netherlands, is I have to pay to get over 100 copies of my thesis. The department actually recommends 200 to 300 because you'll want to give one to everyone in the department and send them to luminaries in your field and just save them in case someone wants one in the future. Meanwhile, everyone not from the Netherlands will stare at you funny if you say this and say they maybe printed out one copy for their parents and another for their advisor because, you know, we have the internet now. Which I 100% agree with. This mainly seems like a great way to kill trees. Unfortunately for the trees though, I've realized getting your doctorate is of their ball, their bat, their rules situation, and 400 years of tradition doesn't budge easily, so I'm just gonna have to print the damn things. Suo stupid. My gluten allergy did me dirty. Boss just told me that she's actually going to take the time I spent in my bathroom out of my paycheck. Thank God this is my last week. Edit. Wow guys, thank you for all the support. I'm so glad people actually care about issues like these because it's a real problem. My boss died last night. We've all known him as a close friend for years. I work in a state psychiatric hospital. The doctors are incompetent and just view it as a puff job to settle into. We treat the patients like shit. We don't treat them, we just feed them drugs. The admin is more concerned with keeping the shitty decision makers happy than actually trying to do what the institution is tasked to do. And I got in trouble for asking the dietary director, why do you make 200 servings of potatoes for 75 patients? I wasn't able to hit the target goal for the cancer screening program I work for this year. Basically, my head office asked me to increase the number of people we screen for breast cancer this past year. I agreed to the increased goal, but they then didn't increase my budget enough to actually cover it. So come the end of our fiscal year, and I'm having to explain to them over and over why it happened. And my boss just called to ask if I can increase my goal more for next year with no additional funds. The Peter principle alive and well. I have a good point, but I'm dismissed with, well, that's not going to happen. It can, we just have to. Sharing an office with OSHA specialist. He has literally nothing to do each morning. He fills up the 3 Band-Aid dispensers that we have and then stares out the window or sits in front of a blank computer screen all day and keeps fucking clicking with his pen and annoying the shit out of me. Meanwhile, I have so much stuff to do, shit's falling off my table, have tons of emails, people constantly asking for help, and he leans over the monitor and comments, busy today, eh? I swear to God, I hear one more pen click or stupid comment, we will have our very first work accident and there will be no one to claim it to. The sole developer of an application that electrical engineers for some of the biggest companies, Apple, Samsung, Toshiba, etc., around the world rely on, is on a month-long adventure in Africa. I am currently the only person maintaining the application, and I was given access to the repository just 5 days before the creator became unavailable. That I hate my job but like the money I make. But is good pay worth the depression? Management is too cheap to pay for another worker, so the responsibility is passed to a different person every night. It goes against the policy and procedures of the place, but they don't care. For the first time in years, I'm actually dealing with no bullshit at all. The team I'm working with is great, management is great, and even the customers seem to be in a good mood lately. I can only wait for the inevitable shitstorm that's coming. I'm on my 2-week notice right now, so I'm being treated like shit and having a bunch of extra work piled on. My work crush is talking to me more, and I have small heart attacks each time. We're supposed to do more upselling, but it's very hard to do in our department when customers just want to pretty much get in and get out. Hopefully I'm not fired for it. The guy next to me unzips his pants every single morning after he sits down. I hear that zipper. I mean, he tries to be stealthy about it, but all day I'm hearing him unzip to sit and zip up to get up, and yeah, I think he's got his dick out for some air because he definitely has a sigh of relief after every zip down, and yeah, I get it. Letting your dick out for some air is one of the simple pleasures in life, and sure, I've also hung dong at work under my desk on the hot days when the boss doesn't want to spring for a little AC, but come on, every day? I mean, someone has gotta stop this guy. Having nothing to do and trying to look busy doing it. Reddit helps a lot on this front. I hate my boss and I'm leaving this job in like a month, moving across the country and maintaining no real connection to the city I'm living in now. So my ability to give a shit or actually push myself to work is rapidly approaching zero. A lot of my day is spent with the door closed and splayed out on Kai office couch. The biggest micromanager of a boss I have ever had to deal with. I don't want to work 70 hours a week. How dare I want a life-work balance? Being rewarded for being good at my job by being given more work to do with no compensation for the extra work. I'm a 28-year-old dog groomer working out of a pet supply store. I had a client whose dog I'd been grooming for a couple of years. He was a little weird, Vietnam vet, obsessed with Aerosmith, but seemed harmless. He would come into my salon every other day to chat, but never talked about much more than his dog or Aerosmith. Then one day, several months back, he came in to chat, except this time he was telling me his whole life story, holding me hostage in the way that only clients can. And then, mid-story, mid-sentence, he looks into my eyes and says, "I love you, truly." I immediately recoil, shocked, and he says, "I'm sorry, I don't know why I said that." And continues talking as if he didn't just profess his love for me. He had an appointment a couple of days later, during which he tried to lure me out of the salon to watch a "Don't Wanna Miss a Thing" video on his phone with him. It was around this time that I decided I was no longer comfortable having him as a client. I was told by management that he was banned from the salon, but not the store, which I was willing to live with. He's tried unsuccessfully to make grooming appointments several times to my knowledge, but today I came in and looked at the book, and guess who has an appointment tomorrow morning? Edit. Vietnam, not World War II. They just decided that I will no longer have access to book appointments for students, due to that meaning I'll have access to viewing advisor notes. Even though I'm legally obligated by FERPA not to reveal or share any information I come into contact with. I'm the desk receptionist, so booking appointments is like 75% of my job. Trump's tariffs, you know, the ones that he promised wouldn't hurt American small businesses, have eaten into our profit margin, and we lost money on about $12,000 worth of orders. Meanwhile, since the farmers vote for him, they get a handout. And no, we could not plan ahead for these tariffs because they slapped them on after we received the product. We could not have known. I said yes to every request asked when I was new and in between bosses. Now I have exponentially more responsibilities than my initial job description without a pay increase. Assistant forwarded me a call from a friend colleague of mine. She got one syllable of my friend's name wrong, which wasn't a big deal. The friend and I are working on a big deal, so she's called multiple times since then. My assistant has got her name wrong every time, and despite me correcting her each time, the corruptions are getting further from the mark. Happened again yesterday, the worst butchering of the name yet. I wanted to yell at her, but I took a breath and I said her name is XX. When you consistently say her name wrong, it sounds like you're insulting her. I know you're not trying to insult her, but she is a personal friend and she brings us a lot of business, so please do try to get it right. I don't think I could have handled that better, but she flipped out at me, then told a bunch of the other staff about what in a hole I am. Ugh. My boss wrote on the whiteboard, if you're gonna call me a cunt, say it to my face, and fired someone on the same day. I'm trying to find a new job that pays more, and no one fucking wants me. Slow right now. Being acquired by a much bigger company. Disruption with a capital D. The usual. People. Moved from public sector to private. It's bonkers here. I'm a database developer and I regret leaving my old one. Going to beg them to take me back.